Hello YouTube, it's Accurate again, back with another video from the home studio. And before we dig into the actual content of this video, I just want to say, no, I'm not wearing the eye patch right now. The eye patch has been there to stop my eye from completely drying out because I haven't been able to close it, but now I kinda can, so I'm experimenting my way forwards with this. Which means that I have this kind of bad rash on my face from wearing the medical tape and taking it off and replacing it like every day for 6 months. That's what you get. Eventually that's gonna heal up as well, so don't worry about that. It just looks a little bit bad, and yeah, I'm gonna keep making videos nonetheless. Okay, so that's out of the way. Now let's talk about audio interfaces today. And in particular, this one, the Arturia Audiofuse Studio.
Accurate beats.
So an audio interface is kind of always the first thing I tell people to go out there and buy if they have decided to start making music as a hobby, as a business, or just for fun. I guess most of you guys already know this, but yeah. An audio interface is a box that's connected to your computer over USB, Thunderbolt or Firewire, and it's basically what handles all the audio coming in and out of the computer. So you plug in your guitars, your synths, your microphones into the audio interface, and that gets transferred to the computer digitally. Alright, so if you're kind of new to this, or you don't have a lot of stuff to plug into your music making setup, maybe you just have a pair of speakers, headphones and a microphone, you could do with something like this. This is Native Instruments Complete Audio 2. A lot of different brands and companies put out products just like this one, hooked up over USB to your computer, and you have two inputs right here. Maybe two microphones, or maybe a left and right signal from something like a turntable or an MPC or a sampler or whatever. So normally this one does the trick for most people that doesn't have like a big home studio and wants to hook up a lot of different stuff to their computer. And that's kind of like the most basic of audio interfaces there are. And now I have this one. Arturia's Audiofuse Studio. It's a completely different kind of beast compared to something like that. And this is aimed for studios. I've had this one for a while now, and now since I remade the studio and made myself a little bit more space to work in, this one comes in really handy for someone like me. And adding to that, it's also suitable for people with actual studios, with like rooms of amplifiers and maybe a drum kit and stuff like that, because this one has 8 individual inputs. On the front we have 1, 2, 3 and 4. On the back 5, 6, 7, 8. And I've also decided to make my entire studio mono because, yeah, I'm deaf on the right ear now. So basically even something that outputs a stereo signal like the MPC-1 or Machine, if I'm using that as an audio interface, or maybe the MC707 or the SP404 for that matter. Everything in here is now mono. So that means I have 8 different instruments or devices to be able to hook up straight to my audio interface just like that. So this one is actually a really nice way for me to future-proof my studio, because I can also expand this one over ADAT. So ADAT, optical in and optical out, 8 more tracks available to me. So by using that, I could also hook up this one, my Arturia Audiofuse 8.3, which is an audio interface in itself, or just an ADAT expander. 8 more tasty inputs if I want to hook up everything that I have in the studio at once. So I just need to buy the ADAT cables to be able to do that, but for now, the Audiofuse Studio is more than enough. Yeah, so using a high-end audio interface like the Audiofuse Studio actually makes a lot of sense for someone like me who has a studio that's always changing in one way or another. I mean, just the small things like you have 2 different individual headphones outputs on 4 different jacks. Both the 1/4 inch and the 8-inch jacks are available to you right here. And that's actually what I use sometimes for recording some quick videos on my cameras. Just taking an aux cable from the small jack here into the camera works flawlessly. But if that's not good enough for some reason, I can't really see why right now, but in that case I also have 2 different stereo speaker outputs right here. So of course I could just hook up another pair of studio monitors for this, but I could also use like another audio interface externally, like I do for my live streaming, or like recording a stereo signal from these jacks into a Zoom recorder or something external like that. Then it's just a matter of hooking that thing up to my secondary output, and by the click of one button, I have that one activated instead. And since that becomes an output in that case, I have this big output knob that I normally control the volume of my monitors to control the output of the secondary speaker as well. So that's cool. Now there's also a way to set your audio level on this main output to match from A and B if you have two sets of mono speakers that you want to hear but playing on the same kind of level even though they're not the same size. That's not what I use it for right now myself, but again, it's a cool way to future-proof. And I don't think I've said this on YouTube before, but I've thought a lot about maybe buying myself a bass guitar. Even though I kind of don't really know how to play it, I think I kind of want one. And if I get a bass guitar, this interface also has an aux output, which means I could route my bass guitar through this one into an amp and reamp the signal and get it back into the Audiofuse Studio without any bigger issues at all. So that might be something that I'm gonna do in the future. And it should also be said that the Audiofuse Studio has 4 different insert outputs. So if you have something like external kind of stuff like compressors, reverb, delays, or whatever kind of external effect, you can use the inserts for that. And maybe this goes without saying, but the Audiofuse Studio sounds really, really good. The 4 inputs here on the front are combined XLR and 1/4-inch jacks, and everything I've connected to them just sounds really, really good. The microphone, the synthesizers, the drum machines, everything. It just sounds like it should. These 4 input channels has phantom power and a switch to switch them to instrument level, a pad button for taking the signal down 20 dB or up 10 dB, I think. And the last one is for inverting the phase. Kind of sounded wrong, but phase invert. It also has this dedicated Bluetooth button on the unit itself, so that switches the Bluetooth on and you can find this device from your iPhone or whatever and play music on your studio monitors through a nice interface just using Bluetooth. It connects to your computer over USB, and this is a USB-C port, so that's nice. And one thing that I think every manufacturer in the world should build into anything they make, a USB hub. That's nice. Everyone should have that on everything. You can never have too many USB ports. In life, I guess. USB ports, yes please. Now, I can't honestly say that everyone should go out and buy an Arturia Audiofuse Studio interface because it's overkill for a lot of people. I really see that. But I think it makes sense for someone like me who has kind of a home studio with a lot of stuff hooked up at the same time. I should also mention that this one has a talkback microphone, so if you have this one in like a studio with a recording room and a control room and you're the producer, you can just hit the button and talk straight into the studio to communicate whatever you want to communicate. And again, since I've decided to make my entire studio mono, it's really nice to be able to switch mono. Oh, that's not mono, my bad, that's mono. So just like that, you're able to listen to your entire mix in mono on both speakers, or mono, yeah, that's mono, for your headphones as well. That makes my life just so much easier. I mean, that way I know that I can turn on mono on the monitor here, and that's what's recorded into the camera and into the video that I'm making. That way I'm sure that I hear the same thing that you do, even though my right ear is a little bit messed up. And of course, this one also comes with a really nice controller software for your Mac or PC, and it actually has a dedicated button. So you hit this one and you have the software in front of you on the computer. That's kind of handy. You can set all your levels with the software and you can control your different monitoring outputs and configure it how you want it to work for you. So far, I've kind of used it pretty much as it is out of the box, but it's kind of configurable like that and kind of, what's the word? Customizable. It's kind of customizable. So yeah, this is my audio interface of choice. This is what I'm using right now. And I think this is gonna stay in the studio for quite a while because, you know, I've used a lot of different audio interfaces since I first started making music. Both 4 channels, 2 channels, 8 channels, and 6 channels ones. But I've honestly never had anything of this quality. So yeah, you're gonna see that in a lot of my videos and live streams in the future, I'm sure. So yeah, I just wanted to give it a first look and talk a little bit about it in a video like this. It's really good for someone like me. Maybe it's good for you as well. Maybe it's overkill, maybe not. However, thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Ha det gott. Phase invert.
Accurate beats.